Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Read Between podcast, the improvised storytelling podcast where we take the internet's weirdest suggestions and turn them into wacky, wild, and crazy stories through the power of improv. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan.
I'm your other co-host, Lynn.
And joining us today is our second guest storyteller here on Read Between. He's a good friend of ours. He is a local improviser and stand-up comedian. He's our good friend, Dan Ford.
Hello, you two and everyone out there.
Dan, how's it going? How you been?
Swimmingly, I'd say. I'm all right.
That's good. That's good.
I'm ready to tell some stories.
Awesome. Now, for those who may not know who you are, what you do, you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Okay, yes. As Evan said, I am a local improviser in the Lehigh Valley area. I dabble in stand-up a little bit, although I haven't in a very long time. But I still, if there's an open mic, but mostly I am a high school custodian, and that is what I identify as. So, I also dabble in comedy.
Yeah. Dan's a part of a very funny improv duo called Dad and Son with our good friend Joe Rovner. Awesome improv duo. It was actually Dan's team that faced me and my friend Rob Cressman in the finals of last year's duo tournament at Bar Brawl.
I'm still bitter to this day.
That was a fun tournament. That was a close match between the two of us.
That was,
but that was so much fun. You guys are hilarious,
and so are you.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw you and Rob do that, I'm like, especially when it was us in the finals, I'm like, I'm not even mad. Like I'm completely okay with that because you and Rob are incredible.
Well, hey, if it was like it really, I really wouldn't have mattered who won. It was just so much fucking fun playing with everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great to have you on the show. We're very happy to have you here to tell some silly, fucked up stories, probably. So.
Yeah. Again, thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. It's always fun to have our friends on the show. So for Dan and for those who may not know what we do here, for the first half of the show, we go to the subreddit on Reddit called Not the Onion, and we will take so basically Not the Onion is a subreddit where there's crazy headlines and crazy stories that you would think are on the website The Onion, that they would be fake, but they're actually real.
But they're real?
They're real.
Whoa.
They're fucking real.
Oh my God.
Some of them are nuts. So Lynn's going to go ahead and peruse through that, pick a couple for us, and then we will tell the story behind one of those headlines. So, Lynn, what do you got for us today?
Okay, Not the Onion is it's the best it's been in a while.
Peak Not the Onion this week?
Yes.
Oh boy.
True to form.
So at the top of the list, posted 3 hours ago.
Oh boy.
A man found 54 human hands in the snow. Russia says they're probably just trash.
What? So this was in Russia?
I assume.
Pay no mind to the human hands.
Oh gosh. Just move along. No need to look at hands. Just move along.
And it's an even number, so it's like there's nothing missing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's 27 people.
Yep.
These are hands of communist worker.
Oh boy, that's
just gloves. Don't worry.
Boy,
So there's that.
Okay.
Skin is leathery and soft.
Keep you warm.
Oh man.
Like vodka.
All right, so 54 hands in snow. All right, cool. What's another one?
California lawmaker nicknamed Huggy Bear told to stop hugging people.
I saw that. I didn't read the story, but I saw that headline. I'm like, what? But I was disappointed when I saw the picture of the guy, and it wasn't Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, it wasn't?
It wasn't.
It also wasn't Snoop Dogg from the movie?
From the movie. From the 2004 movie. Holy shit. That's one thing about the show. We make dated references.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm here. That's why I was brought in. That's my wheelhouse is dated references.
Dated references and wrestlings.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Lynn.
Yeah,
we have two wrestling fans here.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not used to it.
That's true.
Like, I hate wrestling, and I'll sit there and talk about wrestling with you.
So and she'll watch, too,
yeah.
so.
I'll try to keep my wrestling talk down to a minimum.
There you go. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Except when you leave the room. Then you just go to
What's one more?
Trying to find
a good one.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Man frustrated by long emergency room wait steals ambulance from village's hospital.
I'm in.
That's a Patriot
good.
right there.
Oh yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the dude who was like, fuck this. I want an ambulance.
I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in on that one.
Yeah.
We can really get into this guy's psyche.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So let's tell the story of the guy who so fed up with the fucking ambulance that he stole it, or fed up with the emergency room that he stole an ambulance. Okay. So Jeremiah Williams was a man who always had a problem with the healthcare system.
He was a bit of a hypochondriac.
Yes, yeah. Ever since he was a baby, ever since he was a child, he'd always been afraid of doctors and always been like so against like the healthcare field, and you know,
I liked him.
Yeah, never liked it. I think it had something to do with the fact that he was constantly breaking bones as a kid, and they always would just put him in casts, and he didn't like being in a cast because everybody would make fun of him that his arm was in a cast or his leg was in a cast,
and nobody would sign his casts.
No, yeah, nobody.
After the first one, because it's a normal thing for kids to have like a broken arm or something, and then all of your schoolmates would sign it. That's a normal thing. But this was constant. Like every other week, he'd have something else in a cast. So other kids are just they'd grow tired of it. Like, no, we're not signing your stuff anymore.
Yeah, and as he got older, like the things he broke got progressively weirder.
Oh,
like at one point, he broke only his like third toe on his right foot, and then in that same week, he also broke his chin. So he had a cast on both his like little like middle toe and his chin.
A tiny little toe cast.
Yeah, tiny. They make those.
They do,
You'd be surprised. They make tiny little toe casts that keep that thing set. And then the chin cast, it was almost like he had to wear a football helmet. It was like just the chin strap part, but without the helmet.
He couldn't talk for the better half of a month.
It was just like he was talking like this because he couldn't move his mouth that much. So,
he had like the Kanye West like a jaw wire.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But with and
he couldn't rap really.
He had hopes because of the chin cast, but
but it didn't really work
out.
So yeah, as he grew up, he just became more and more and more infuriated with healthcare because it was just like nobody seems to make me better. I'm constantly breaking things. I don't understand what I need to do. What do I need to do to get them to like actually fix me properly?
There's never anything preventative done. He's never given any sort of tips on how to prevent these these accidents.
I mean, and it wasn't like he was like doing anything crazy to break his bones. Like,
oh no,
like when he broke his chin, he was eating a sandwich at Panera, and it wasn't his fault. The bread was just so like
stale.
It was so stale that when he bit into it, just his chin exploded. His chin exploded, and he had nothing. He couldn't do anything about it.
A chin chunk just flew into his French onion soup.
Yeah.
It was quite the sight, really.
Thought it was a chip at first. That didn't end well.
Yeah, and the little pinky and the little middle toe breaking. He was actually at a salsa class because him and his girlfriend, he wanted to do something different, so he took her to a salsa class.
There's some spice in that relationship.
Exactly. So he was just getting down on the dance floor, just moving around, and then all of a sudden he goes to turn her, and he just breaks that middle toe, just trying to do a spin, and
too much pivot.
Too much pivot. They don't tell you. That's another thing in salsa classes. They don't tell you how much pivot.
They don't. They just say, "Hey, go to town with the pivot."
Exactly. It's just go to town. Just forget about it and just dance with your heart, not with your feet. So yeah, and the doctors would never give him any preventative things. It's not like they could say drink milk, but what else can you do to prevent a broken bone?
A man can only drink so much milk before he is actually puking milk.
Oh, that is true.
So he could have a fridge full of milk, but that's just not enough substance for that.
Yeah, I mean,
that big old man.
If you've ever seen the gallon milk challenges on YouTube, you know those never turn out well.
Jeremiah has seen enough of those.
Yeah, and he's actually done a few of them because
he's tried.
Because he thought it would help. He thought doing the gallon milk challenge like every day would give him enough calcium so that he wouldn't have to worry about his bones breaking.
All it did was actually break some teeth.
Yeah, actually that's how he broke his teeth, because one time he went to drink a glass of milk and it was so cold that he accidentally bit down on the glass and his teeth just exploded.
Yeah.
For some reason, all of his bones, when he breaks them, they explode.
They just splinter everywhere.
Yeah, they explode. It's not tiny fractures. It's not like hairline fractures. Yeah. It's full on exploding limbs, pretty much.
Bad.
The walls in his apartment are scary.
Oh,
they're littered with pieces of bone that have flown out of his body.
It's like if a cop walked in, he would have some explaining to do.
You just look at the stain and indentations on like each part of the wall, and you just looked at them. Oh yeah, 1996. That was the forearm. Yeah, and just goes down. You can just name everything.
It's like a weird museum.
Yeah.
2007. That was the femur. Yeah.
He has his own like weird Mooter museum like, on his walls.
It's not a museum of medical oddities. It's a museum of my bones suck. That's just what it's called, the My Bones Suck Museum.
If there's any silver lining though to his teeth exploding, that video actually went viral.
That's right. I do remember seeing a video back in like 2009 of a dude's teeth exploding. I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, I laughed at that.
Yeah, I did too.
It was funny.
I did too. I think I may have shared it on MySpace.
It was funny though.
Yeah. So I think we've gotten far enough off track with that.
Sorry.
So no, totally. Folks, we're improvising this story.
Yes.
We're just making shit up.
Oh, really? No one told me. I thought these were real.
Lynn, you've been on this show 14 times. How did you not know this? You're my co-host. You do this every week.
Yeah, I thought these people were real.
Oh God. We're gonna have a talk after we're done.
Oh
Okay,
man,
yeah.
another
wait
one.
outside.
But yes. So through all of this, Jeremiah was he is at his wit's end.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he knew the next time that he broke a bone, if something didn't get done, he was gonna flip shit and something was gonna happen. So this last time, he was actually out in his garden. He likes to keep a nice garden in his place. You know, he's got a nice backyard.
Who doesn't?
Nice, yeah. You know, you grow some fresh herbs, you grow some tomatoes, things like that.
Some perennials.
Exactly. Yeah. It's especially since it's almost springtime here, you wouldn't think of it because it's so cold.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's planting his flowers and his seeds, and he goes down. He puts his trowel in the ground, and all of a sudden, unfortunately, like 1996, bam, forearm explodes again as he digs his trowel in the ground. He's like, not again! It's been 21 years. I thought we'd be fine. So
Still hasn't healed.
Yeah, still hasn't healed. So luckily it was his non-dominant arm, his left arm. So he was able to, get himself to the car, drive to the hospital, and the whole time he was just grumbling to himself, motherfucker, God damn, another bone broken, fucking shit.
I can't feel it anymore. It's broken so many times.
Yeah, he's just kind of built up the pain tolerance so much that when it happens, it's like a little splinter. It's not even like any sort of pain.
More of an inconvenience than holy crap, a piece of my body exploded.
Or I would say he's more in a constant state of shock, where it's just like,
he just wakes up screaming.
He has no alarm clock. His internal alarm is just so
That audio just spiked.
Hey, you're gonna see that a lot with this.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, but so he gets in the car. He drives to the hospital the whole time, grumbling, angry the whole way there.
Yeah.
And he gets to the emergency room. He checks himself in, and they're like, and the nurse Carol, she knows him very well. She's been there since he was a kid.
Yeah.
So she's seen him through all of his escapades, and he walks in. Carol says to him, "Oh, Jeremiah, you're back again with another broken bone, I see." She's like, and of course he says, "Yeah, Carol, it's the forearm this time. First time since '96. I thought we'd be done with this." And with this, Carol, checks him in and thought, "Just go sit down. We'll come back to you when we have some more information or when a doctor's available."
Then she jokes with him, "We also have this punch card where your seventh exploded bone, you get your surgery free." And he just goes,
well,
just
and of course they had just instated that day.
Oh, it was
so
a joke.
Yeah, well
Wow.
the problem was he's been going there for so long. He had 40. So they wouldn't even retroactively add any.
They wouldn't grandfather him in.
They wouldn't grandfather him into the program. Them sons of bitches.
That's exactly what's wrong with.
That's what's wrong with the healthcare system.
That's what over the edge.
Yeah, as soon as she offered him the punch card, he started just tearing up the waiting room. He was throwing chairs. The TVs that you think are bolted to the wall are actually not.
No.
They're just like hanging by duct tape to the wall. And he just ripped it down,
with his one arm.
With his one arm,
yeah. The other one's like a little floppy. There's no forearm in there, so it's like a little gross.
It's almost like a monkey when they're flinging shit around because they'll just have their one arm like, and then the other arm. Folks, this doesn't translate well to audio, but I'm standing here with my one arm like below my knees and my other arm above my head.
Evan jumped onto the chair. He's now crouching on top of the chair.
He's throwing poop around my clean apartment.
Yeah. Hey, look, I had to get into the character.
Just had to duck. Yeah, it's a little hairy in here now.
But anyway, Jeremiah found it very therapeutic to a point for him to just destroy the waiting room because he had enough of this. He was done. The healthcare system was fucking him over yet again. Nobody wanting to help him. Nobody wanting to give him the treatment he needs. So he said to Carol, "Keep your goddamn punch card. I'm out of here." With this, he storms out the front door, and he's looking for something else to break.
Anything at all.
He sees the emergency sign. He punches that out.
He found a bike rack. He just ripped it out.
Yep, he just ripped it out and threw it into the street. And then he happened to see an ambulance. And there was an EMT that was, little ways away. He stopped to go take a smoke break. He'd been there all fucking day. He was there like a 12-hour shift. And he left it running because he knew it was only going to be a couple minutes. So he figured he'd just leave it there and come back.
Smoke break,
yeah, gotta take a smoke break. And with this, Jeremiah looks at that and he's like, "Oh, these sons of bitches, they're not going to miss this." So he just storms over, hops in the ambulance, throws on the sirens, backs it out, and just starts driving away. And this EMT the whole time, he didn't even notice because he was just like
puffing away.
He happened to hear the sirens go by, and he's like, "Oh, hey, somebody else is running out for a call. I didn't hear it on the radio."
Okay, yeah, I'll go in.
Where do I get another ambulance?
Do we have another ambulance?
So Jeremiah's got these sirens on, and he's just fucking driving around. He's barreling through traffic around the city. He's just cutting down corners left and right, honking the horn. And then all of a sudden, you hear police sirens. He hears police sirens behind him, and then just a cavalcade of cop cars just start following him. And with this, he reaches out the window and he's like, "You can't catch me, you sons of bitches! Still got one good arm." And with this, he throws the car in cruise control.
Oh, yeah.
Because somehow he's just on this straight path of road.
It's just a long highway.
Yeah, it was a closed highway that he was just able to drive on for like a mile.
Oh, yeah.
And he throws the car in cruise control. He hops out of the front seat. And he starts just throwing shit out of the back of the ambulance at the cop cars.
Yeah, he finds like medical equipment, like stethoscopes.
Yep.
Anything he can find.
Yeah, I think he even threw a couple IV bags as well.
Yeah, and they splat on the windshield of the cop car.
I think he threw...
Saline solution goes everywhere.
I think he threw a little bit of alcohol in the one because he kept a little bottle of... he kept a little bottle of Johnny Walker in his pocket. Like
to stave away the pain.
Well, and so he took it, he poured it in the IV bag, set it on fire, and threw it at the cop car.
A Molotov
cocktail. just lights it on fire, throws it at the cop car. It's like a really bad version of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Where it's only the missions where you drive the ambulance, but then you get frustrated halfway through and just want to destroy everything.
And the thing, you don't even get like 150 health for completing them all.
No, you don't.
No.
You just
get more medical bills.
Yeah, it's no satisfaction.
And jail.
And jail. Yeah, you just get the big busted.
And you just lose $2,000 and
all your weapons are gone.
You're out the next day. That's it.
But yeah, so this whole time, car's in cruise control. He's throwing shit out the back. The cops are on their loudspeakers. "Pull the vehicle over. We got you surrounded, and we don't want to hurt your other arm.
We know you're not an actual EMT. You don't have your license with you."
He's like,
"Pull over."
So with this, he's like, "Fine, I'll pull the car over. God damn it!" He turns off the sirens, pulls the ambulance over to the side of the road, and he hops out of the car. His bad arm is just dangling out,
flopping around.
And in his other hand, he's got a syringe full of morphine.
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that can't be good.
He's pointing it at his arm as he's walking towards the cops. He's like, Look, you don't want me to stick this in my arm, because I'm going to go to sleep right here on this bridge. You don't want me to do this."
He needed a nap. He had a lot of excitement.
He had a lot of excitement, and he was actually starting to feel the pain.
Yes.
Finally.
The perpetual state of shock he was in was starting to fade away.
Too much adrenaline from the ambulance chase. It wore off his own shock.
Yeah. It's actually a weird medical phenomenon where
they
cancels each other out. It's really weird. Like I haven't seen it in medical journals yet, but it's just really fucking weird.
Wow.
So his adrenaline level was so high that his perpetual shock was wearing off. So the two just were starting to lower at the same time. But he was feeling, he's like, "I'm really starting to feel the pain in my arm. I need this now. So you gotta go away, and I do this alone. You tell the hospital to take care of me right now. You get a doctor out here right now to set this bone and get a cast on." "You know what? No, I don't want a cast. I want a team of surgeons right here on this bridge to fix me up right now.
And the police have a negotiator with them because they somehow knew it would come to this. To some sort of standoff.
Yeah.
So the police negotiator with a megaphone, he's like, okay, Jeremiah, we can do that for you. Okay, just put the syringe down. Just put it down. We can talk this through. Actually, right now I have my weird field phone. I have that, so I can use that. I can go back to I can call the hospital. We can get a crack team of surgeons with you. They're not too happy about what you did to their waiting room. We can work with that later. Just put that down, please. No one needs to get numb, okay?
He's like, I want to get numb so bad.
I know you do, okay? I can relate, okay? Oh God.
You ever broken your chin and your middle foot bone, your middle toe at the same time? You know how bad that pain is?
Actually, I have. It wasn't my middle toe, it was my pinky, actually. My pinky toe. But I can't quite relate, but it's very similar. It's a hockey injury when I played Little League hockey in the mid-'70s. Yeah. God, I haven't thought about this in years. Yeah, it hurt a lot. It did. Everything hurt. I was just passed out on the ice, just numb to everything. But I got through it, and so will you. Damn it! Pull through.
Fine. He drops the syringe. He gets down on the ground. Puts his good arm up. He tries to throw his other arms. I can't.
A chunk flies off.
A chunk flies out of the forearm. He's just like, just get the surgeons. And he passes out on the highway. And so he's out for a while. He doesn't know what happened.
It's completely out, yeah.
And then he wakes up. 2 days later. He's in a hospital room. And he looks down at his arm. And it's completely healed.
No. Oh.
It's completely healed.
Wow.
Well, it's not.
Okay.
Well, let me say that. Let me rephrase that. It's in a cast, and he feels that like something's been done, but it's not one of those like crazy casts. It's more like a softer cast.
Oh, okay.
And it's but he can feel that something's different, and he can feel in his body that something's different, and he's looking around this hospital room, and it's not the same hospital he's been in before.
He can hear like metal clanging.
Yeah.
Like some metallic type sounds.
Yeah. Here's screaming in the background and all this sort of stuff. And then he looks over to his right. And he sees this folder next to him. And it's just labeled X-24. Folks, this was all a story to tell you the generation of the new Wolverine. Jeremiah Williams was pumped in a system full of adamantium. And he's now the new Wolverine.
Whoa.
All of his issues with bones are now gone.
He has regenerative healing.
He has regenerative
properties.
healing.
Okay.
So if anything happens, he's not going to feel a damn thing.
That's going to be a conversation at a Tinder date, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
So, folks, after all of that, Jeremiah Williams was put into the Weapon X program, and he's going to be the new Wolverine.
Moments after he wakes up, you just see like this, from behind, you see like this bald figure in a wheelchair, just slowly going into his room. Good, you've awoken. And then fades to black.
The end.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
That took a turn.
That did take a turn. That took a very interesting turn. Wow, man. The healthcare system, they really fucked up on that one.
He did. Now, is that the American healthcare system or the Canadian? Because Logan, the original Wolverine, is actually Canadian.
That is true. I would think this is American.
Okay.
Because yeah, Jeremiah was a Canadian boy. He was born in Illinois. So, yeah, this is the...
You just said Jeremiah was Canadian, born in Illinois.
Oh.
Which one is it?
Illinois, Vancouver.
Oh, he's an American, born in America, with a Canadian man.
He's with the Canadian man?
Hey, can't judge.
No, who's his saucy boyfriend?
It's Beast.
It's Kelsey Grammer.
It's Kelsey Grammer. It's
Yes.
Kelsey Grammer. Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. So, do we want to take a quick break here and just talk about what we got going on? I mean, because I don't know.
I don't know, man.
After that story, man, we should take a break.
We need a smoke break.
We
Man.
need a smoke break to compose ourselves and get back together. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with more Read Between. Stay tuned. Hello, folks. Evan here, along with Dan.
Hey.
Taking this break time to talk a little bit about stuff we got going on in the Lehigh Valley comedy scene. So, Dan, if you want to go ahead and talk about what you got going on, because I'm very interested to find out what you have going on right now.
Yeah, I guess I do have a a little sort of announcement. Yeah, so I'm actually in very early production stages of my own, I guess, podcast, some sort of show. Podcast, maybe a video. Sort of thing. Yeah, so as Evan, as he alluded to before, I am a gigantic professional wrestling fan. Yeah, so I follow this, what's it called? The GoFundMe of this tabletop game. It's called Smack Talk Showdown. And basically what you do is you compete against another person and pretty much just cut wrestling promos on each other, like given the specific cards you're dealt.
Okay.
And, there's lots of fun things you can do with it. But what I would like to do is get maybe a podcast where every week two of my friends or anyone else will compete against each other, and I'll host it. And just, get ridiculous wrestling promos on each other. And, so that's going to come soon.
Awesome.
I'm really would like to do this. I've been wanting to do this forever. Just there were many delays with the project itself.
Okay, yeah.
And so it finally came out.
Nice.
I have it in hand, ready to go. So Evan, you'd be perfect for it.
Awesome.
So I would love to have you on it.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. It sounds like that sounds like right up my alley.
It's performance based.
Performance based and just making an ass out of myself. I tend to do that on a regular basis. So
Right.
yeah. So look out for. Do you have a name for it already? Or?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know. I'd have to actually get in touch with the company.
Gotcha.
See if I can even use their property.
Product, yeah. But hey, that sounds like a fucking awesome idea. So
They've been cool so far. Double Turn Games. That's who created it.
Okay.
And they've been really cool so far with
Awesome.
everything they do.
Cool.
So seek that out if you'd like, and I'll post about my project whenever I get around to it.
Yeah. So look forward to that in the near future. I'm looking forward to being a part of that. That would be awesome. So
Excellent. Love to have you.
yeah. So as far as what I've got going on in the next coming weeks, actually on Saturday, April 7th at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, PA, I'm actually doing my first sketch comedy show.
Nice.
I'm actually doing a sketch comedy show called Challengers of the Well-Known, Except Nothing Dirty. It's a sketch comedy show hosted by a team of adventurers trying to uncover the secrets of the universe. In this
Daunting
case,
task.
yes, it's a very daunting task. We've got some hilarious comedians as a part of it. We got some awesome sketches that we're working on. We had our first rehearsal last night with the whole cast, and oh boy, it's gonna be a fucking ride of a show. I can tell you that much. So
Even created in the first one?
the first one was great. That happened last summer, I think it was. And
Yeah,
that
I think
one was
so.
awesome. This one,
It's a multimedia experience.
and this one's gonna be multimedia experience as well, and it's gonna go places. It's gonna go places. So that'll be on Saturday, April 7th at 10:30 p.m. at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, PA. So if you're around that area, feel free to come by, check it out. Love to see some faces there, see some new people coming to check out some sketch comedy, and also there's plenty of comedy at Steel Stacks that I'll get to later on in the show when we do our little plugs at the end for
Yeah,
everybody.
we'll plug that later.
Yeah, so I think with that we'll end the break here and we'll go back and let's tell another story. And we are back. We're back from break. That was a nice productive break. Got to get up, stretch our legs. Got to do some promos.
We got a lot of work done. We did some heavy calisthenics.
We did, yep.
Yeah.
Did some nice push-ups. Did some pull-ups on the crown molding in my apartment. Almost pulled it right off the wall.
Yeah, I actually did pull off the wall, so you might not get your security deposit
God
back.
damn it,
I'm
Dan.
sorry.
I got 3 months left in this place, and I wanted to get that back.
I'll Venmo you
Son of
too.
a bitch.
Sorry.
Well, all right. So I don't have to pay you back for the wrestling then. Never
Okay,
mind.
perfect.
Lynn, how are you doing? How are you holding up?
I finished my coffee and I'm wide awake.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I'm ready to take on the world for the next 2 hours and then probably another nap.
Another crash.
Crash hour. Yeah.
Yes. So, all right.
Short burst. That's what it's all about.
That's me.
Yeah. Lynn drinks only like 2 hour energy. So they make that now.
You take a 4 hour energy and just pour like half of it out in the sink,
Yep.
and then just shove
Yep.
the rest.
Yep.
It's a huge waste of money.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
All right. So for the second half of this show, what I do is I go to a website called fantasynamegenerators.com, and they have a book title generator, which has a bunch of different genres, and it'll randomly generate some titles of books. A lot of them don't make any fucking sense, but That's the fun of it. He'll give us the title, and we tell the story behind it. So, Dan, I'll give you the rundown of the genres, and then you'll pick the 3 genres that we'll spin on. So the genres are adventure, children, drama, fantasy, horror, humor, mystery, nonfiction, romance, and sci-fi.
Wow, okay. Well...
So what's the first one you want to spin on?
We're all in the realm of comedy, so let's start off with humor.
All right, humor. Alrighty, so 1, 2, 3.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so there's some funny ones in here. I'm going to pick 2 that I like here. So there's one that's called Dog Mocks Me.
Okay.
And also Robot and Child.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
There's also Love for Magic as well.
That's good, too.
Okay, so out of those 3, which one do you like best out of that category? I like Dog Mocks Me.
I do, too.
I do, too.
That sounds like a really bad version of Air Bud that we could tell. So.
Dog dunks on me.
So Dog Mocks Me from the humor category.
Okay.
All right, what's another one?
I haven't heard any nonfiction. I don't remember ever delving into that.
Okay, so we'll do nonfiction.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. God. We've got Rats of Science, Aromas of Today, and Swords with Style.
Swords of Style.
That was a quick choice.
I love swords.
All right, so we've got Dog Mocks Me and Swords with Style. All right, and what's the last genre you want to spell?
Oh man, still in the sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Science fiction.
1, 2, 3. Basic the Robotic Police.
What?
See, the thing with this website is it just takes like nouns and adjectives and just throws them with like other shit, and it makes no sense.
So it's not grammatically correct.
A lot of them aren't.
Okay.
Leader of the Vacuum.
Okay.
And Confused by Orbit.
Ooh. I'm kind of digging Confused by Orbit.
Confused by Orbit.
Yeah.
You like that one?
Sure.
Okay, so our 3 choices are Dog Mocks Me, Confused by Orbit, and Swords with Style, I think.
Is it Swords of or Swords with?
Swords with,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
I'm voting in this Democratic election. I'm voting for Swords of Style.
Swords with Style.
Yeah.
You like that?
I quite like Swords with Style.
All right. So, folks, for the second half of the show, we're going to tell the story of Swords with Style.
So, nobody expected swords to be in any shape or form intelligent.
Oh.
But when they started hopping off of walls in museums, people started asking questions.
It first started in the Museum of Samurai History in Japan. Mm-hmm. And when there were tourists just all around, just looking at the Bushido blades and such, when all of a sudden just a katana just leaped off and just lopped someone's head off, just seemingly by itself.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a grisly sight.
Yeah. And then there was the Revolutionary War Museum in Gettysburg, where there was a bayonet there. It's perfectly pristine condition, but at one point it just bounced off the wall and just lopped off the head of another person in that museum, clean off.
Wow.
You want to thunk it, but that's some crazy shit. And swords just kept happening all over the world. Different museums, different places. Even people that just had swords as decorations were having to dodge them to not die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rough stuff.
Yeah,
everywhere, just popping up all over the globe. Just these instances of it.
Yeah, and it got to a point where the swords were just flying around so much that everybody just began to bow down to the swords. Society was overtaken by these flying swords.
Oh yeah. Eventually, they were able to speak.
Yeah,
They decided to put little notches in each other's hilts, form little mouths, and they were able to finally speak the words they were feeling from the inside.
Now, what language did they speak?
Well, it all depended on the region.
Did they speak Wa?
Call back. You won't hear.
I wish.
You wash.
I wish.
Stop it.
But it all just depended from the region they were from. So if it was a bayonet, it spoke English. If it was, a Bushido blade, it spoke Japanese. It all just depended where, it originated from.
Okay.
So the first rule that the almighty sword emperors put into place was no more Crocs. Fuck Crocs. They suck.
This is where
even swords don't like Crocs.
Yeah, this is where the style part comes in because people don't think swords have a mind of their own or have like any sort of knowledge of the world. They do. Swords are super cultured. Like
they noticed everything about other cultures.
Yeah.
And just silently judged for years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Swords. This is how like interesting swords are. Swords love the movie Space Jam.
Love it.
But hate. Oh gosh, they hate like everything else.
Pretty much. I mean, when you think about it, the people that they were decapitating in these museums were the ones with the worst style.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they would just be like, "Ugh, he's wearing green and red. Lop off his head."
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, he's wearing camo shorts. Lop off his head. Camo cargo shorts.
The tourist in the Samurai Museum was wearing like a lace like Chantilly shirt, and you couldn't have that.
Oh hell no.
There was a person in the Revolutionary War Museum who was wearing a puffy shirt a la Jerry Seinfeld. And the swords they knew about Seinfeld, and they knew there was only one person that could pull off that shirt.
And that man was not Jerry Seinfeld.
It was not.
Yeah.
It was not. So whoever else was wearing it, take off their head.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that was their first rule. Their first rule was no Crocs. So Crocs were banished. They got all the pairs of Crocs in the world together, put them in a giant pile, and then all of the sword leaders just started chopping all of them up. They just chopped them up in one big pile. It was like the biggest mirepoix cutting ceremony you've ever seen. Like it's like instead of like carrots, onions, and celery, it's just Crocs that they're just cutting up into little pieces.
It was a huge salad shooter, so to speak.
Just that giant dome thing with the cuts in with the holes in it. You just slide a knife through and it just cuts it all.
It's a slap chop. Yeah.
Oh man!
And it even looked like a salad because most of the Crocs were green, and there were some red ones and like some orange ones. So it just looked like a salad, chopped salad.
You'd find it at your local Panera.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
it was a work of art.
It was
in its own. It was so beautiful, in fact, that became an annual thing. So every year,
the chopping of the Crocs,
the chopping of clothing would occur. So the year after that, it was cargo pants. Any cargo pants, put them in the pile. Chop.
Looked like a nice bowl of chopped mushroom.
Yep.
With the color of like some khaki colored cargo pants.
Like the gray ones.
Yeah, lots of earth tones.
And that's just how it was for years.
The third annual was Jorts.
Jorts,
yes. My
John Cena cried that day.
John Cena was actually he was actually sacrificed.
He was sacrificed to the sword gods.
Yeah, he was. We lost a great one that day.
Played his walkout music in the background.
On
in a minor key.
It's like taps, but they just played it like taps.
The guy like sadly raps it.
Your time is up. My time is now. They read it like a hymn.
You can no longer see me.
My time
was
is
now.
Oh man. So their first rule is no Crocs, jorts,
or John Cena.
No more John Cena.
Man, Ferdinand really did not do well in that world. So what? But their second rule, they had their first rule, which was the no Crocs. What was their second rule?
The second rule was no slippers out in public.
No slippers in public.
The third was no white pants after what's that rule? Like
it was
Labor Day. Yeah. So no white pants after Labor Day.
But they also amended it later to be no white pants before or after Labor Day.
So there's no white pants.
So white pants were outlawed.
You can only wear it on Labor Day.
You can only wear white pants on Labor Day. It's the weirdest rule ever.
And then eventually that ended up becoming on the chopping day. They just were like, all right, let's just chop up the white pants now.
Exactly. They just instead of Labor Day, they turned it into white pants.
And then on Labor Day, you were not allowed to wear any pants. It was just no pants day.
No pants day. Yeah.
Labor Day was renamed Free Ballin' Day.
Yep.
And then the giant basin of white pants looked like shredded coconut. It looked delightful.
Delicious.
So far away from this, from the Sword Society, was another society that was beginning to rise.
Oh, what was that?
It was the Shoe Society. shoes
underground
had begun to take over small parts of Europe.
They did, they would have a pretty huge rival with swords, considering that they killed off the brethren of Crocs.
Yes. Well, and also, so the swords actually teamed up with another group that it's a very interesting discussion I've heard numerous times.
Okay.
Swords versus bats.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
So the shoes teamed up with the bats. Baseball, as in baseball bats.
Right.
So...
this is like Warring Tribes.
It is. It's very much like the shittiest game of Risk you've ever seen, with just where it's actually more like a bootleg version of Risk, where you had to like substitute like pieces from Monopoly as like the countries. So it's like
it's called Watch Out.
Like the top hat, the dog,
the thimble.
It's the thimbles and the dogs versus
the race car and I don't even
the tribe of race car. I can only imagine. Is that like the movie Cars? Like if that was like rated R, the tribe of race cars.
Maybe. I don't remember. I watched Cars exactly once.
That's all you need.
We're getting off on a weird tangent again. Okay, no, so it's okay.
So this is like the romance of the three like object kingdoms.
Yes,
it's going on here, like weird tribal warfare.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the shoes and the bats got together, and they started to invade the Sword Kingdom, little by little. They did it very stealthily. So first with the Shoe Kingdom, they sent in the flip-flops.
Yes.
Because the flip-flops were the super expendable. They were cheap too. It was basically all the $1 Old Navy flip-flops. It snuck in and tried to gather intel for the rest of the group.
Okay, yeah.
But they all ended up dying because they're so cheap and they break so easily. So.
I know, but the basic bitches love them because they're $1 a head.
Exactly. So, but I think the one thing we're kind of getting away from is what happened to the humans in this society?
All gone. Just eradicated.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving, they're making sacrifices with.
But they also kept some. They
needed slaves.
They needed slaves, and they needed some to clean themselves because they needed humans to clean them.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant for a moment like we need to keep humans around so we can clean humans. And I got a little worried for a moment.
No. I meant so the humans could clean the swords because they can't really clean themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they kept some humans around for that.
To oil them up.
Yes.
To oil them up. Yes. Polish
sword
them.
oil. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, there's sword oil?
I guess keep them nice and shiny.
There's got to be something.
I played far too much of The Witcher. Okay.
She did too. I never did.
Lots of sword oils.
There's oils for everything.
Yeah.
but yeah. So the flip-flops ended up going in. They ended up finding some of the humans and gathered some intel from them because they actually slipped themselves on the humans' feet because they weren't allowed to wear shoes in the Sword Society. So they actually slipped. Oh my god, I can actually walk for once. This is nice.
These feel great on my feet.
Yeah, and then actually the flip-flops, they had these weird telekinetic powers that they could gain information from somebody by just being worn. So they would get on a human's body and it would download all the information, just go from the brain down to the flip-flops, and then they'd just be able to run away.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's some weird shit in the Shoe Society.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So they've got yeah. They can control your brain. They've got brain control.
So basically, the flip-flops are like the stealth fighters.
Which is surprising, mind you, because they make the flip-flop noise.
Right.
So, for them to be stealth...
You can totally hear them coming.
Yeah.
But then you have the Doc Martens boots and the Timberland boots that are the front lines.
They're the heavies.
Yeah.
They're the heavies, yeah. And then you have the Nike Fly Knits that are your ninjas and your athletic ones that are able to just zoom on the battlefield.
And the general those weird $500 Kanye West shoes.
No, the Yeezys.
They're the rulers. They're just the monarchy. So, but they gathered enough information to the point where it was time to invade. It was time for the shoes and the bats to invade. The bats arm themselves with nails in them. They put nails inside themselves. They wrap themselves in barbed wire. They, I'm thinking back to my wrestling knowledge now of what you typically wrap on a baseball bat to make
we got the barbed wire bats.
Yep.
As used by Terry Funk and such.
Terry Funk. He's not dead yet, is
he? Surprisingly, no, he's not.
God, I can't believe he's not. I'm surprised he's not dead.
About 75.
He's old and still wrestling.
Still at it, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Bless his heart.
Still wrestles death matches to this day.
Retires like maybe once every 7 months.
Yep, and then comes back 2 months later and is like, I'm not done yet.
He sounds like that too. A little more nasal than that, but
Yep.
still he sounds like that.
But yeah. So,
Sorry, yeah.
No,
Okay.
so the bats and the shoes had themselves armed to the teeth. They were ready to go. And the swords heard of this plan, and it was almost like the plot of 300, where the swords and the bats were the
Spartans.
They were Spartans. Yeah. God, I'm such an idiot.
I had to remember the line.
Yes. Of course, you can't. I can't remember the famous line from that fucking movie. This is Sparta. But yeah. So it was like this small group of Spartans versus the large group of Persians, being the swords. The large, overpowering army versus the small but mighty army.
At Swordopole.
Swordopole, which actually was just Philadelphia. They met at the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, where the statue of Rocky has been replaced by a giant Bushido blade.
Yes.
Just has boxing gloves like wrapped around it.
No, actually, they replaced it with a statue of the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda.
Okay, it's even better.
They
took place in Philadelphia.
They worship a fake sword. So
just like Philadelphians worship a fake boxer.
Oh no! Oh god! Oh man, people from Philly are gonna hate this episode.
I love you, Philly. I love you so much.
But yeah, so they meet at the art museum steps.
Yes.
And the swords are just overpowering these boots and these shoes and these bats, and just the army seems endless. But when all of a sudden, out of the army of shoes, comes one pair of shoes to rule them all.
Oh shit.
And that was a pair of Ked's white tennis shoes. The
Whoa.
whitest tennis shoes you've ever seen.
Blindingly white.
Blindingly white. It was almost like it was an angel that had risen from the crowd of shoes. And as it rose from the crowd of shoes, it emitted a blast of energy that shot all of the swords.
It's like a Super Saiyan
It's
kind of situation.
Yeah, basically this pair of white Keds was a Super Saiyan warrior in the shoe army.
Wow.
God, this is fucking stupid, but I love it.
Speak for yourself. This is incredible.
So this pair of white Keds unleashes this wave of energy that shoots all the swords away from the art museum. All the swords were crumbling. The energy was so great that they were starting to disintegrate.
Just shattered.
Like rust.
Shattered and rust and everything. And the pieces were just falling into the Schuylkill River. Which is why nobody goes in the Schuylkill River now.
That's why you don't drink that
That's why you don't drink that Schuylkill water.
You'll get sword shards
You'll
in
get
your mouth.
yeah. And with this, after that, the pair of white Keds remained above the crowd. It was hovering. It was still hovering in the air, as if it was this angel figure.
Had spiked yellow like fur around its
Yeah.
around the edges of it.
They're just kind of like fluttering like wings.
Yeah, and it's I am your god now. I may not look like a god, but I am. And all the shoes bowed down to that pair of white Keds. And to this day, white Keds are still being sold because of that very reason.
It's the only reason.
I have my pair on right now.
Yeah, wait. I mean, that's now the shoe of choice for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Very stylish too.
Very, yeah.
Comfortable?
Goes with anything really. But to this day, it's that one pair of white Keds is still out there watching over the world, watching for the next sword invasion.
And we don't have swords anymore.
Yeah, we don't really have swords anymore.
We replaced them with guns.
Yeah. The end. Let's not get into that problem. That's not what we're here for. But yeah, that was also very fun. Holy shit.
Oh man.
That's
a world we've populated with some crazy stuff.
Yeah, we really did some world building today. That's for sure.
That's fantastic.
Holy shit. It's been a lot of fun. Dan, thank you so much for being a part of this show. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. I always love to have our friends on here and telling some really fucking funny stories. So this is the part of the show where we kind of plug what we got going on. So
get that plug life.
Yeah,
going
and
on.
plug like your social media and stuff like that. So So why don't we let our guest, Dan, you want to promote your social media and where people can find you?
I dabble on Twitter too, at DenialTwister31. It's that sweet internet branding that I did in like 7th grade and just never updated it.
Nice.
Yes, that's a White Stripes reference. That's how old it is. I just never got around to updating it. But yeah, I kind of do. I tell jokes on there.
You tell some good jokes.
Yeah, thank you.
I would definitely follow his account if you want some quality jokes.
If you really want jokes, go on Facebook. That's where I do them most.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, I pretty much just yell at like the NRA and stuff.
I think everybody is nowadays.
Yeah.
It's the main platform.
Okay. Zip. Yeah. I just have like an online presence and just tell some jokes.
Yeah. And look out for his new podcast, probably coming soon. And
yeah, within the year.
Yeah.
That's a big window. But, yeah.
We'll be sure to feature that on here. We'll be definitely looking forward to being part of that. I know.
Excellent.
I definitely want to be a part of it. Lynn, I'm sure, could probably jump in there at some point.
Probably. I probably have the skills of Bailey when it comes to promoting shit, but sure.
That's really
I'll take it. Yeah. That's a reference.
Hey, we'll take a Bailey if you can get us the wacky inflatable
if I
arms.
get the inflatable arms, can I come hang?
Yeah, exactly.
Put my hair in a side
that'll
ponytail.
play really well on audio. When it's just a
That's all you can hear.
that's all you can hear.
And just hug everything you possibly can.
Just hug everything.
Hug it all.
Just hug my chair the entire time.
Well, Lynn, do you want, or shall I say Bailey? Bailyn.
Bailyn.
Do I need to talk like I'm giving a high school presentation? That's what she does. Just saying. It's like I'm waiting for her to put up her slideshow. Sorry, I'll stop.
Someone doesn't like Bailey.
Save that for our wrestling podcast. That we're gonna there's enough of those.
Can I be a guest on that too, Evan?
Yes. If I ever do one.
I'm on Twitter, and whatever I do on the internet goes on Twitter. So follow me at Anlyn, AYNNELNN. We got Nostalgia Cops coming out at the end of the month.
Forgot about that.
Can't wait for that.
And we're doing Dexter's Laboratory as our first episode.
Yes. That's going to be a lot of fun.
So stick around for that. We got like 3 more episodes to watch, and then we can record it.
Yes.
You watched the entire series?
No, we're just watching like the first couple episodes of the first season.
Like unless if like the series is super short, like I don't see a problem watching it. But I think Dexter's Lab is like 13 episodes or something for the first season.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of get like a baseline with some... And maybe watch like a couple episodes that are like highly regarded as part of the series. So
like
stay away from that weird reboot they did.
Oh yeah, I
didn't
heard
know
about
they did a
that.
reboot.
Yeah,
they did a reboot of everything.
I mean, it wasn't even like a newer reboot. It was maybe like 10 years ago or so.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's not great.
Okay, yeah.
Stay away.
We're gonna stick with the OG. So
yeah. Good call.
And you can find me on Twitter at @E_Williamson93. I'm trying to tweet more. Don't really still tweet a lot much, but trying to tweet more. I'm not a jokester. I don't tell jokes, but if you do want to see me tell jokes and make an ass out of myself, come to the Improv Comedy Power Hour, which is at Steel Stacks every second and fourth Saturday at 10:30 p.m. So if you're in the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania area, come check that out. Also, as we mentioned during the break, come check out Challengers of the Well-Known. Saturday, April 7th at 10:30 p.m. at Steel Stacks. I got a bunch of other stuff coming up. I don't even remember what the hell I'm doing. So I just do shit and it happens. So I kind of just like zone out.
You just show up. All right.
I just show up, hop on a stage, and make shit up, and I'm done.
And no one just tells you to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
They're okay with it.
They can tell him to leave. It doesn't mean he's gonna.
Exactly.
Leave.
I'll just be standing. I stand on stage till like the next day. And then the custodian's like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "I've just been standing here, doing bits, doing bits to no one in the dark."
And then the janitor's just like, "Yeah, whatever."
He's like the loneliest scene.
You're not the first person to do this. Well, I think on that note, we're gonna end this week's episode. Thanks again to our special guest Dan Ford. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
It was a pleasure.
Been a blast. No problem.
Thank you too.
Hope to have you on again at some point.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah. So
it's a delight.
Oh gosh, it's so much fun. So thanks for tuning in, folks. We will see you next week, and have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.